Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on the Casual Collective. My name is Lindsay Weebs, and I am the host. Today is episode 6. It's a part 2 of episode 5, where I talked about my 2024 year in review, and I hinted at some of my goals for 2025. So for today, I'm going to go through and talk about some of the goals that I have made. It is February now, so I've had about a month to start working on these goals. So I'm going to go through and talk about all of them and see what kind of progress I have made so far within the first month of the year. The goals are broken into categories, and if you're in my Discord, you may have already seen them. But I'm going to go through and kind of explain some of them and how they relate to myself and content creation and my relationships and stuff like that. So you may have already had a glimpse at them if you're in my Discord, but I'm going to try and explain them a bit further in this episode today and kind of explain why I'm focusing on these types of goals specifically. I also wanted to take a moment at the beginning to wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day. This episode should be coming out on Valentine's Day, and if you are listening to it anytime after, I am still extending all the love to you and reminding you that you should take care of yourself and always give yourself love and appreciation for the things that you do. I know Valentine's Day is fun for some people and some people absolutely hate it. I have always viewed Valentine's Day as just such a great thing because you don't always have to have a partner for it because you have many people in your life that you could give gifts to and celebrate having healthy relationships with. So I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day because many of you who are listening to this episode, I do have great relationships with. So I want to take a moment and say thank you for our relationship. And I appreciate everything that you do for me. And I hope that you can give yourself some self-love today and appreciate the good things that you do for yourself and for others. But happy Valentine's Day. Treat yourself to a fun little drink or a sweet little treat and take it easy today. For those of you who do have a partner and you have plans to go out for dinner or watch a movie, or whatever you like to do for Valentine's Day, I hope you guys have a wonderful time and that you get to cherish that moment that you have together. Even you singles out there, do something that makes you happy, spend some time with friends, do whatever you got to do that makes you happy. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I hope it's a great one and that we can all share the love with one another. I also have to give a lovely shout out to my partner Yetzel. I love you and thank you for everything. Now back to the episode. Now there are quite a few goals on my list. However, some of them are much easier to obtain compared to others. And in my brain, I like to have some easy tasks that I can accomplish to kind of give myself a little bit more motivation to do some of the harder ones. So some of them are pretty easy and some of them are more difficult. So I just kind of sprinkled them all into this goal list that I have. But like I said, all of these goals are split into categories. So I'll talk about my personal goals, my health and finances, my professional or career goals, my hobbies and more fun type of activities. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about content creation, which I have quite a bit on there just because it's encapsulating a bunch of different areas of content creation, whether that be on Twitch or in Discord or for this podcast. So those are the categories. We're going to go through each one. I'm guessing each one's probably going to take about 10 minutes, and we have 5 categories. So it'll probably be about a 50-minute podcast episode, I'm thinking. But you would know that by now because it's already posted. All of these goals that I've made are tailored specifically towards me and where I'm at in my life. So please take some of these with a grain of salt because they are specifically curated for me, and they may not all make sense, but I'm going to try to explain them the best that I can. And if any of these stick out to you or are similar to some of the goals that you're working on currently, I would love to chat about that with you. So let me know if we are working on anything similar, or if you want to tell me what your goals are too, because if you don't know already, I'm big into co-working, and that includes working on goals together. So I would love to work more with others on accomplishing things and then being able to share those accomplishments and throw little parties for ourselves. So I'm thinking that maybe halfway through the year, I will revisit these goals in the podcast and see kind of what had happened and where I'm at then. And then probably share some stories along the way too. So for the goals, I'm really excited for them. I try not to fall into like the cliche of goals when people are making them at the beginning of the year, because I really am trying to think of things that are really going to impact me and really matter to me, rather than trying to make like shallow goals, because if you make shallow goals that aren't even tailored to you, then you're most likely not going to follow through with them. So I feel like people also try to make goals that are not out of reach, but maybe not as attainable. So it's harder for them to actually start. Because I think the biggest thing with goals too is just being able to start doing them or working towards them. So yeah, I actually think I have some of them that I'm already going to be crossing off today, which is great. Already a month in. So let's see what I have and haven't done so far. So first we're going to start off with personal goals. A lot of these revolve around relationships and how they affect me right now. I'm trying to prioritize relationships more this year. As I stated in the last episode, I kind of started to put up this wall online and in real life to kind of protect myself from feeling more down than I already was. So I'm going to try and like break those down a little bit more and try to meet some new people this year. So a lot of these goals kind of revolve around that. And also, a lot of my real life friends live far away from me, and I don't really have anybody that I hang out with in my town anymore because everybody graduated and moved away, and I'm not in my hometown now, but I'm in this new town that I don't know anybody. All of my friends that are my real life friends live like 3 hours away, and another one of my friends is going to be moving states away. So no hate on you, Marissa, by the way. I'm very proud of everything that you're doing, and I know you're listening, so I love you. And Ricky, I love you too. But yeah, they both live pretty far away from me. So I want to cherish those relationships, but also be able to have that in-person interaction more often, because I feel like I really do seclude myself in my home. And I have a feeling I'm going to do that even more now that I'm living alone and I enjoy the space that I'm living in. So I'm trying to make sure I don't like fall down that hole of like completely becoming a hermit. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't want to get to that point where it's all the time that I'm spending at home. A lot of these personal goals kind of surround that area, and then it also touches on the relationships that I've made online, because I feel like that is a very touchy subject for me, related to my online relationships. And I talked about it a little bit in my venting channel in Discord. I don't remember when that was, maybe last month. But another member in my Discord had brought it up, and I'm so glad that he did, because I feel the exact same way. But when it comes to online relationships, people can like up and leave you so quickly without any warning. And also, like, just ghost you completely. Like, it is so easy to just delete your account or block someone or leave a Discord server and just never see this person again. And I have a really hard time coping with that. So I've kind of taken a step back from trying to build online relationships because there's that fear inside of me that these people that I spend so much time with and that I'm hanging out with in servers and everything could just easily leave just as quickly as they joined the server. So that's just an example, but I feel like that happens very often online, and I know it happens in real life too, but I feel like it's almost easier online to just click a button and be like, okay, peace. And then the worst part is you just have no idea how this person is doing or if they're doing okay. And yeah, it's a lot for me. So I don't really have many online friends as I did a couple years ago or when I started on Twitch, just because I have started to build that. I don't know. I put this bubble around me that I just don't want to even invite anyone into. So a lot of these personal goals kind of relate to that. And then my real life area of relationships that I'm dealing with right now. So I have 5 personal goals. The first one is to start and maintain healthy relationships. So I want to be able to start new relationships online and IRL. I'm not going to like put a number on that. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to have one new IRL friend this year. Because it's like, I don't ever know whether I'm going to have more friends online or in person. So I'm just not going to put a number on that. But I am setting the goal to at least start meeting new people online and in person. And then not only that, but also maintain these relationships. Because there are people that I've met, but I just haven't followed through on plans and catching up and stuff like that. So I really want to spend more time planning stuff and actually going through with the plans and sitting down and actually being with the people that I've already met and who I have a relationship with, but I want to be able to build on that relationship that I've already started. So I feel like I have a lot of people online that I could easily DM or I could sit in a VC with and watch them play a game or play a game with them. Or, yeah, there's even like servers where people are watching movies together and co-working and stuff like that. So I do really want to build on that as well because I am in a lot of servers right now with a variety of people, which I could easily like be talking more in general chat and participating in community events and stuff like that. So I really want to push myself to start doing that more. On top of that, I didn't really specify it in my goals, but on top of that, I want to focus more specifically online with creating a more, I don't know what to call it, like girly, feminine space, I guess. Because a lot of the people I surround myself with are men online, which I am not complaining about that at all. I have so many amazing people who identify as male as friends, and I have been friends with them for several years online. Complaining about that, but I also feel like I need to have some sort of like girly space that I can hang out with girls online because it's just such a hard time finding girl gamers or whatever. So that's another big thing too. I did make a Discord channel specifically for those who identify as feminine, and they can join that if they want. So I did make a for the girls channel, so that way we have our own little space to talk about more girly things outside of the general chat. But I don't have too many people in there yet, and if you're listening to this and you are in that channel, thank you so much for joining. I hope we have a fun time in there. I just also don't really have many girl friends online as I do in person. So I do want to try and find more people online so we can all have our own little space for that too. So next, for a personal goal, I have set a morning/night routine. This is something that I have struggled with for the longest time. I don't think I've had a proper morning or night routine since high school. And that's because high school is a set number of hours of my day. Like, I knew I had to be up at this time, I had to be ready by this time, and then I was at school until 3 o'clock or whatever. And then I knew I had to go to sleep by a certain time, so I had a night routine and everything was good. Since high school, I feel like I've never had a proper schedule. Even in college, like, my schedule changed every semester, so it was different. Some semesters I had an 8 a.m. class, and other semesters I didn't have a class until 2 p.m. or 6 p.m. So I've just always struggled with morning and night routines because I feel like they're never at the same time. And I feel like that's part of the routine, is having that in your schedule at a specific time every day. That's another one I want to work on. I feel like having a morning and night routine also ties in with self-care, because you're taking that time for yourself to take care of yourself and maybe do some skincare and some things to like wind down at night. So I just think it would be good for my health overall. That is a very big goal for me. And I think it's going to be hard for me to achieve because I go to sleep at different times every night and I wake up at different times every day. Some days I'll wake up at 8 a.m. Other days I don't wake up until noon. So it's so hard. It's so hard. If anyone has any tricks for setting a morning and night routine, let me know. But I think it just comes down to my schedule and having a more set schedule, because right now everything is still just all over the place. So that's another big one. I really want to start establishing a morning and night routine. I think that'll just help me sleep too and just function way better overall. Next, I have keep the boundaries that I have set. This one's pretty self-explanatory, I feel like. In my yearly goals for 2024, one of my main goals were to set boundaries with people. And I think I took this pretty literally and maybe took it a little bit too far. Like I said, I started kind of putting up these walls around myself. So I was almost making like physical boundaries. But I do really appreciate the boundaries that I have set for myself, especially online, because I used to let other people get away with a lot of shit. I used to have a lot of people just get away with stuff in my Twitch chat and in my Discord, and I had a really hard time saying no and timing out people and banning people for just inappropriate stuff. I would just allow it to happen. I've also had people just ask me weird questions and ask me to do stuff like play certain games with them and just different stuff. I just have a hard time saying no. Parasocial relationships are a very complicated thing. So I am very happy with the boundaries that I did set in 2024. And that goal is to pretty much just keep the ones that I've already set in place and continue to follow them. With that too, I feel like I've kind of changed my mood on Twitch. I feel a lot more relaxed and comfortable with myself on Twitch, and I feel like I can be more of myself because I'm not people pleasing in my chat. Yeah, that's pretty much all with that one. And then I set this goal. I don't really know exactly how I'm going to achieve it because I feel like this goal just encapsulates everything else that I'm going to talk about. But I put on here to improve my overall mental health. And, that's just like paying attention to what I'm doing in the present, using mindfulness, trying not to stay in the past, but also not worry too much about the future, and pay attention to the symptoms I'm experiencing, whether it's like ADHD related or anxiety or depression. And I think just paying attention to that and staying in the present is going to help my overall mental health. So that's kind of what I meant by that goal. And I think being in healthy relationships, establishing routines, taking care of my physical body, doing self-care, all of that is going to improve my mental health overall. And also this year I'm going to be living on my own in my own space, and I think that'll be a big part too. Then lastly, for my personal goal, I have to stay in touch slash message more often slash reach out. I kind of hinted at this already with the relationships, but I have such a big issue, and I'm starting to realize it's because of my ADHD, but I have such a big issue with messaging people and staying in touch with people. I'm so bad at it. And part of it is because in my brain, I will tell myself, oh, I need to reach out to this person. Oh, I'm thinking about this person. I should really text them. And in that process of thinking about texting them or thinking about reaching out, I forget to actually do the action. Like, I'm so caught up in my head thinking about doing the action that I end up not even doing the action. And I do this all the time. And I feel so bad. And then the worst part is if someone messages me, I'll see the notification and I'm like, oh my God, I have a notification. I need to check it. So I'll click the notification, I'll read the message, and I have the chat open right there in front of me, right? You think the easiest thing would just be to reply in that moment while the notification is right there. But instead, I'll sit there and I'll think about my response, and I'll get so distracted by something else going on that I'll leave the chat and I'll go do something else. But I'm still thinking about my response. So, say someone messages me and they're like, hey, do you want to go get coffee later? And in my head, I read it and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'd love to get coffee. Let me go check, though, to make sure I don't have anything else going on. So I'll leave the chat. I'll go over and I'll look at my calendar. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't have anything going on. I should be free. I would love to do coffee. But then as I'm sitting there looking at my calendar, I'm like, oh, yeah. I also have a doctor's appointment later. But that's at 2:00. I have time for coffee before then. Oh, but like, what if I don't? What if I don't? What if I want to spend more time on coffee? Maybe I should move it to another day. And then I sit there and I'm like ruminating in this. That I will literally forget to message this person back until like an hour goes by. And I'm like, holy shit, I forgot to respond. And then I'll go back to respond. It'll be basically too late. And I'll be like, maybe another day. Even though the entire time I wanted to go. And I literally had the time for it. But I let the time get away to the point where I couldn't even go. Why do I do that? That's just an example. But I think it's worse with Discord messages. Because a lot of the times when someone DMs me on Discord, it's about something online or like a game or whatever. And I'm not as quick to respond on Discord because I really want to think about my response. But my problem is I don't regularly go back and look through my messages unless it's a new message. So once I click it and the notification is gone, my brain just assumes that I finished the conversation. I don't know why I do that, man. It's so bad. Anyways, that's my last personal goal, is to stay in touch, message more often, and reach out. Because all those things really aren't as hard as what my brain makes them to be. My biggest enemy is time, and this is an ADHD thing. I will think that sending someone a message, reaching out to someone, or replying to them is going to take 20 minutes of my time. Why do I think that? I don't know. But a lot of the executive dysfunctioning in people with ADHD is they estimate more time for a task than is necessary because they feel like they're going to get distracted or something else is going to happen during that task that's going to extend the time that it takes to actually do the task. When in reality, it's not true. Well, it could be if you're like super distracted. But for me, I will, for some reason in my brain, think that it takes like 20 minutes to respond to someone when really it takes what, 30 seconds to a minute maybe to respond. It's not hard. And I think I get in my head about it. So with that goal, I'm just going to keep reminding myself that it takes 30 seconds to reach out to someone, 30 seconds to respond to a message. It's not hard. And if you don't respond now, you're going to forget about it, and it's going to be 5 business days later by the time this person hears back from you. And you know what? That's just not fair to them, because do I want someone to take that long to respond to me all the time? No. I understand, and I'm always going to be forgiving of that. It's really never going to bother me. But if it's something important, I'm going to be like, hey, did you forget about me? What's going on? So yeah, that's the last personal goal. I guess the rest of the goals are still kind of personal because they're about me, but I feel like those ones are more like directly related to my personal life. That wraps up the personal goals. I feel like that one's going to be the longest one to talk about other than the content creation at the end. So these next ones are probably going to go a little bit faster. They're pretty self-explanatory, I think. But the next category is health/finances. So this year, now that I'm living on my own, I want to focus more on what I'm putting into my body and how I'm taking care of my body. And I also have to pay attention to my finances because I'm not relying on anybody else and I have to pay rent and stuff like that. So, and I got a new job, so I kind of have to focus on my finances now. So that's kind of a bummer, but whatever. You got to do it, I guess. Apparently, I'm an adult. I'm going to be 25. I'm going to be 25 years old. Jesus Christ. Oh, anyway. Anyway. So these are my health and finance goals. First one, get a new gym membership. This I can cross off the list. I did actually do that in January. I got a new gym membership. And I haven't had a gym membership since college, my bachelor's, my undergrad, because I had a gym on campus for my undergrad. So I haven't really gotten a membership since then. So I finally got one, and it's near the place that I live, so that's cool. It's only like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minute drive, so that's great. That eliminates that barrier of, oh, I have to drive this far to go. I don't want to go. So it eliminates that barrier. So get a new gym membership, so that's great. Already been enjoying it way more than I expected to. I've gone quite a few times already, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. So that's something new. Next one I have is stretch. I do want to stretch more often. This just kind of goes with having the gym membership because you have to stretch with that. But it also goes with my morning/night routine that I have for my personal goal, because I'm thinking maybe I can establish that as part of the night routine. I started doing it a little bit before bed, but I have kind of been slacking some nights when I'm like super tired. And once again, since I don't have a night routine, I just kind of give up and go to bed. So stretching is on there. I want to get a yoga mat. I don't have one, so I need to get a yoga mat for that to do it more often. Next, I have make smoothies and protein shakes. I have started doing this too. So, yeah, my health and finance goal has been going really well because I got a gym membership, I'm starting to stretch, and I'm making smoothies and protein shakes. So, I've really enjoyed that too. I was in Yetzel's Discord server and he has a gym, like a gym category. And I asked all of the gym goers in there what type of protein they like. And someone recommended the Jocko protein powder. And I've really liked that one. In perfect timing too, because it was on sale at Walmart when I was looking for it. So I got the chocolate and the vanilla Jocko protein powder, and I really liked it. Another person recommended Rise, which I've also heard really good things about Rise. However, it's a lot of money, so I don't really have that much money right now because I'm in the transition into my new job. So I haven't gotten great paychecks yet, unfortunately. But I might try those in the future. We'll see. I also want to get some electrolytes, but those also cost money. So I used to drink electrolytes all the time, but I stopped for a little while. So I want to get back on that too, but I'm kind of being a little wary of how much money I'm spending this month. So that's been going good too, because I've been making a lot of protein shakes with the new protein powder that I got. And I really like the taste of the Jocko. And I think that makes a huge difference when consuming protein and making protein shakes and stuff, is having one that actually tastes good. It doesn't have like that protein flavor, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that's good too. Next, I have Take My Vitamins, which I have been a little confused about that right now because I'm trying to decide which vitamins I should actually be taking. So, right now, I actually just recently stopped taking magnesium, but I was taking magnesium, iron, and omega 3 fish oil, like I said last episode. But I've noticed the magnesium is supposed to be for better sleep patterns, but honestly, I think it's ruining my sleep. Like, it's making me a lot more tired and it's not allowing me to get out of bed in the morning. Like, it just makes me exhausted. So maybe magnesium is not right for me. So we're still playing around with the vitamins. It's kind of a learning curve for me. I think I should probably start taking iron because I'm a woman and I am probably iron deficient. So kind of doing okay with that goal, but also yeah, I don't know. Trying to figure it out cuz something's not right with that, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Next, I have these are the couple finances that I put on here. I only have two financial goals, but the first one is to keep track of my financials on Excel. So using Excel sheet to make sure I'm keeping track of everything. And shout out Yetzel for helping me with that because I used to know how to use Excel, but my brain kind of put that in a metaphorical filing cabinet all the way in the storage room, and I don't remember how to do half of that shit anymore. So shout out Yetzel for helping me with the financials on Excel. I do need to make sure I keep looking at that though because I've been kind of forgetting. And right now it's very important because my paychecks are like maybe a fourth of what I actually am supposed to be getting paid. So not the best right now, but it'll be fine. You know what? I'm not going to perceive it. Last thing I have in my finances is to refinance my student loans. And if you are a student and you have student loans, make sure you do that after you graduate. If you have private loans, please refinance because I guarantee you can probably find someone else who is going to give you a smaller interest on them. Because right now my student loan payments kicked in and it's a lot of money. So I am in the process of refinancing right now. So Also very not fun. Would not recommend. Awful process, but stuff you have to do, unfortunately, as an adult. Yippee. I love being 25. Okay, I'm not 25 yet. I'm still 24. Still scary to think about, though. Anyway, that's pretty much the health and finance section of my goals of 2025. I am meeting almost every single one of those goals, but I have not finished them. I have finished getting a new gym membership. I did buy that, so that one I guess I can check off. Other ones are still ongoing though, but I am making significant progress in those ones. Next are my professional goals. This relates to therapy and my job as a therapist. The first goal I have for this is to start my new job, which yippee, I have completed that. I have started. My start date was February 3rd, so I started last week. Super exciting. It has been a pretty slow start, unfortunately. I still don't have any clients, but I'm sure that'll change very quickly. I interrupt this episode to say that as I am editing, I now have 2 clients, so that did indeed change very quickly. But I can check that off. I did start my new job. Hell yeah. New therapist era for the L Weebs. Can you even imagine me as a therapist? That's crazy. So crazy. Imagine me being your therapist. Actually, maybe don't imagine that. Anyways, next I have set a specific work schedule. I should highlight this one 10 times over because this is very important to me. I need a schedule that isn't going to burn me out. Because right now, I do not have a set schedule at all because it is my job to schedule my clients and to see my clients. So I need to figure out what days I want to work and what time of the day I need to cut myself off and stop thinking about work. Because I really don't want to be one of those people who are just constantly thinking about work, which I know it's going to be really hard because I have a lot of clients who I care about. So I need to set boundaries in that area where I set a specific schedule for that. What's great about that though is I am going to integrate co-working streams into my work schedule. Since I work for myself, I am still working for an agency, but all of the productivity that I do is for myself. I want to set certain times of the day for co-working that I can sit down and write all of my therapy clinical notes. So I'm going to set a certain schedule to see my clients from this time to this time. And then from this time to this time, I'm going to do co-working or do my notes, which is great because then I can go live and co-work with you guys for a couple hours while I'm still doing my work. But I need to figure that out still. So that needs to happen. Next goal I have for professional goals would be to take a class or attend a seminar. That's just because as therapists and social workers, you need to continue to learn in the field. So I would really like to go to something that's in person to engage my mind that way because I've done so much stuff online lately and I been doing a lot of self-taught stuff, but all of it's online. So I really want to challenge myself to at least attend something in person at least once this year. And it's going to help me in my career. So next I have maintain self-care while seeing clients. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to burn myself out because I am dealing with a lot of heavy topics at work every single day. And some of my clients also have my phone number, so they can text me pretty much any time of the day. And I just need to be able to maintain self-care, especially if I get a text outside of work hours that is an emergency or something serious. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Lastly, for my professional goals, I have read at least 3 therapy or practice related books. It's pretty self-explanatory. I want to continue learning and I also want to start reading more. So, for you guys, I challenge you to read at least 3 books this year. If you like reading, I know some people don't. Maybe instead of books, it's watching 3 videos. But I do challenge you to do something like that that's going to engage your brain and helps you learn about something, whether it's like coding or painting techniques or drawing techniques or I don't know, whatever is related to your career field. I challenge you to do something like that and keep your brain going and keep yourself interested in the career that you have. So that's it for my professional goals. I think this year is going to be an interesting year for me in terms of my career since like I'm officially just on my own as a therapist and doing diagnosis and stuff like that. So lots of fun stuff. I can only check off one thing on that, and there's a lot of things that I have to work on in that area this whole year. All right, we're about halfway done. This is what I'm saying, guys. I had a lot of goals this year. A lot. I think this actually may be the longest episode that I've had so far. Hope you guys are staying in there right now and doing all right. This is your reminder that you should be drinking water, and if you need to, go get a snack, or if you're still just having a good time listening, make sure you take a little break, a little mind break. We're halfway done. Next we have my hobbies and like a fun creative type goals, and then content creation. So interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I have 6 goals for my hobbies / fun and creative aspects of my life. All of these I probably don't really need to talk about too much because they're just things I want to start doing. But the first one I have is to cosplay at least 2 times this year. And I put 2 times because I know one of them for sure is going to be at con. The second one also might be at con, but I might also just challenge myself to do like a closet type cosplay or something. But I have cosplay at least 2 times. My cosplay list right now is Hanji from Attack on Titan. I love Hanji. I miss her. So I have Hanji, maybe Mikasa, but I don't know. I thought about Mikasa before because my hair was more dark at that point, but now my hair isn't as dark, so I'd probably have to get a wig for her. So Hanji for sure, maybe Mikasa. And then I thought about doing a cosplay with Yetzel at C2E2. So we were thinking about doing a cosplay together for Zuko and Katara. So he would obviously be Zuko and I would be Katara. He has long hair, so I think that could work. We thought about doing that. I might do an Avatar cosplay. We will see. I don't know. But that's an option too. I can't think of any other cosplays that I thought about doing this year. My mind is blanking right now. I'm sure I'll think of more as the time comes. That's what I want to do for cosplay this year. Also with the cosplay, I do still have my Yor from Spy Family. I still have her. So I could always bring her back out and cosplay her again. But next thing I have is get a library card. Now that I have a different residency, I want to get a library card at the library in the town that I moved into. Next I have start painting again. I used to paint all the time and then I just kind of gave it up for some reason. So I want to start painting again. Next thing I have is learn something new. This is pretty broad, but I just want to learn something new this year, whether it's like an instrument or a new painting technique, whether I start doing more watercolor or something, I don't know. Or maybe I start learning a new language, I don't know. So I'm still debating on what that is going to be, but I think I'll learn a lot of new things this year, so I'm not super worried about that. Next I have go camping. I love camping so much, and this summer I really want to put that as a priority because the last couple years I keep saying I'm gonna go camping and then I don't. So that's happening this year. And then lastly, I have take Athena on a walk or a hike at least 2 times a week, which this was on my goals last year. And I just want to keep that up because she deserves to go outside and get some exercise. So that's my more creative and fun type hobbies that I want to keep doing or start doing in 2025. I think a lot of them kind of motivate me to get out of the house and explore my creative side, which is something that I have been lacking in quite a bit. I just have such a hard time with being creative, I feel like, and thinking of new ideas and pushing myself to do creative tasks because I always end up burning myself out with them, thinking that they are a chore when it's not. It's supposed to be a hobby and something that's lighthearted and fun. So we will see how that goes. Okay, lastly, I'm going to talk about my content creation goals for 2025. This is Twitch related, Discord related, and podcast related. I have the overarching goal of just honestly just posting more on platforms in general and engaging more, but I didn't really put that as a goal because that's just always been my overarching goal is to slowly be more engaged on different platforms. So that's like Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that too. So just have that in mind too when it comes to all of these goals. But I do have quite a lot of content creation related goals. It looks like I have 10. Yeah, 10 content related goals. So let's just dive into it. Some of them are super easy, some of them are definitely a little bit more challenging, but all really good goals for this year. And I hope I can at least meet like half of them because when I went through my goals for 2024, I noticed that I met almost all of my goals that I set at the beginning of the year, but I really lacked in the content portion of the goals. I'm pretty sure I only met maybe one of my content related goals, and that was it. So I really need to focus on that aspect this year because I was severely lacking in my progress with content creation last year. So I really, really want to focus more on that this year. The first thing I have is new emotes, which I kind of want to rebrand and redo most of my emotes that I have on Twitch. I probably will only save one or two, but the rest of them on Twitch, I'm hoping to kind of revamp and have maybe one artist for all of them. So that way they all have the same sort of aesthetic and art style. Because right now I just have like a big jumble of emotes that are all different art styles and stuff. So, and some of them are even OG emotes that I did on my iPad like 5 years ago. So I think I might pitch some of those and maybe hire an emo artist to do all of mine, but that also costs money. So we'll see when that will happen, but I do want to revamp some of those. I did replace some of them already, so I do have a head start on it. I made a few more for the Discord and then kind of changed some out on Twitch, but I do still want to get a few more for Twitch. So that's the first one. Next one is to have a gaming or chatting related stream at least one time a week. So my plan for right now, since I don't know what my work schedule is, I'm planning on doing one co-working stream and one gaming stream a week or chatting. So that's what the next two goals are, is having at least one co-working and one gaming. So I'm streaming 2 times a week, which I think is like pretty good as a foundation. I think that'll help me have a more set schedule. I do really like co-working, but I also want to be able to have that other stream where I'm playing a game or talking. So streaming at least 2 times a week. Don't know when, but hoping for one co-working and one gaming. Next is create merch or a logo/brand, which actually, this is something I can kind of check off the list because this past month I've been cooking. Yes, I have. I have been cooking. So I did start working on a merch website. I think I'm using Fourth Wall. I did get a logo. I don't know if that's going to be like my official L Weebs logo, but I did get a graphic made to put on the merch for my Twitch. And then I also started cooking up some merch for the podcast as well. I don't know when I'm going to announce the official launch of that. However, I have been cooking. I have like hoodies and mugs right now. So that's pretty cool. I am really excited for that because I've been wanting to do merch for quite a while. I don't think I'm going to announce it for a little while. I think I'll probably wait until halfway through the year, maybe summer. I think I might announce it in the summer because I want to be more consistent online before I even release merch. Because right now I feel like, not that I don't deserve to post it, but I just don't think I really need merch yet if I'm not consistently online. So I think I'm going to wait until like the summertime after I'm kind of getting back into a routine and I'm posting more episodes and I'm streaming more often. I think I'm going to wait for a little bit, but I am cooking. Don't worry. On my end, I do have it almost complete, but on your end, you won't see it for a little while. Next goal is to increase podcast episodes, which I did hint at this last episode as well. I'm going to throw in some more episodes in between the weeks that I have scheduled where they're shorter episodes and they might just be like a lore drop or a story time type where it's not as long, like maybe it's like a 20-minute episode. So I'm going to try to do that. I think that might not be for a little bit longer still as I'm trying to get through work since I just started. But yes, I am hoping for that as well. Next is to have at least 4 guests on my podcast, which 4 kind of seems like a lot to me, but I'm also thinking for the entire year. And I honestly don't think I would even have more than 1 guest per month. So if I think about it, it's only 4 months out of the entire year. So it's like every 3 months I need to have at least 1 guest on the podcast, which I feel like is pretty good. I feel like that's a good start because I also don't know what it's like to have a guest on the podcast yet. So I'm kind of testing the waters, but also challenging myself to at least have 1 person every 3 months, which I feel like is pretty good. That's every like 6 episodes. So I think that's fine. Next, I put finish a game on stream. LOL. Because if you watch my Twitch stream, I never finish a game, ever. I think I've maybe finished like 3 or 4 games on stream over the whole, how many years have I been on? 3 years I've been on Twitch and I've only finished like 3 games. What? Huh? So I do want to start and finish a game on Twitch, which seems super easy to do, but it's just funny because I haven't yet for some reason. Well, I have, but honestly, not in a really long time. Next, I have bring anime nights back into Discord. So if you're not in my Discord, I used to have an anime night every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. We would just hop into a VC and everybody would be muted and we would watch a couple episodes of an anime depending on which one was voted in the poll. So we've watched a lot of anime in the past. We watched Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, what's that one? Romance one. Love is War. That's the one I was thinking of. Oh, we watched Cowboy Bebop. We've watched Mob Psycho. Oh, and Arcane. We have watched a lot of anime in the anime nights. So yeah, we'll usually watch like an episode or 2 and then kind of check in to see how everyone's doing that night and maybe watch a 3rd episode. But it's the same time every week and everybody just hops in and watches. And it always just depends on what show we're watching at the moment, whether some people want to join or not. So I am bringing those back this year because it's been about maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years since we had anime nights. So I'm going to bring that back. We already voted on the time. It looks like we're going to continue to do it on Thursdays at 6 p.m. And I am shooting to start anime night on February 20th. So it'll be next Thursday when this podcast comes out. So if you're not in my Discord, make sure you join for that. And then I think the next goal was to actually bring back movie nights as well. I'll have to double check that, but if it's not on there, that's another goal. Yes, I was right. So I also have bring back movie nights because we've only done like a few movie nights in my Discord. They always go really well. I mean, it's super chill. You just hop in and hang out, and if you need to do something, you can leave. You know, it's super chill because you just sit there muted and watch the movie. So I want to bring back movie nights. I think that would probably be like a once a month type thing. So I do want to bring that back as well. So even if you're not into like gaming and stuff like that, you can still join the Discord and join us for movie nights. So that's another thing. And then lastly, I have figure out YouTube content, which seems very vague, I will say, because if you heard me talk about it, you're supposed to make like very specific goals so that way you know the progress you're making and when you know that you've achieved it. And this one kind of goes against that because it's very vague. I understand that. However, I'm talking about like the very basis of what I want my YouTube channel to be, because I've had a YouTube channel for years and I've posted some stuff on there. I've posted clips from my streams and a couple tutorials and stuff like that, but I haven't made like a specific goal for my YouTube channel and like what sort of things I want on there, whether it's like vlogs or my VODs or whether it's just going to be podcast episodes or if I'm going to make it gaming related and just put clips on there. So yeah, it's just been kind of a ground where I just throw random videos. And I think I am going to kind of sit down and revamp that channel to figure out exactly what I want to post on there, which I kind of already have an idea. I want to post more like IRL content and like vlogs, but I haven't specifically thought about like honestly what kind of vlogs do I want to do, like day in the life of a therapist, day in the life of a content creator. Do I want to visit places and vlog that, or do I want to try new foods? I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at there. I need to just kind of figure out the basis of what I want my YouTube to be like and start just experimenting with it. I'm not trying to set any goals for numbers like, oh, I want to get to this many subscribers or I want to post this many videos or anything like that. I don't really want to pressure myself in that way on YouTube, but I do want to just start picking up the camera more in general and just being able to edit and work on practicing my editing skills and stuff like that. So I really, really want to get a camera. I want to get a nice camera for like the podcast, my stream, and YouTube, because I think a camera would be so good to have in all of those areas. But unfortunately, cameras cost a lot of money. So right now, I just kind of have to teach myself to pick up my phone and use my phone to record stuff. But I live in a small-ish town, and I just feel so weird being like a quote-unquote influencer in a small town because nobody's walking around recording themselves or with their phone out like that. So I just sometimes feel super awkward. And also, with being in a smaller town, you really have to think about being doxxed and just seeing people that you know all the time. So I think I still have a little bit of anxiety when it comes to making YouTube content just in general. So I do really want to start though. And now that I'm in my own space again, I feel more comfortable recording stuff here at my apartment. So that's what I kind of mean about figuring out the content. I really don't really want to stress myself out in any way, but I do want to dip my toes in the water and have a basis on where I want YouTube to go. And I really don't want to disappoint myself in the process either. So I'm not setting too high of expectations there. I think I am going to make a YouTube channel specifically for the podcast so I can post all of the video aspects of the podcast. So there you can go watch the video and the audio at the same time. So you can actually watch me talk rather than listen on Spotify too. But I think Spotify does have an option to upload the video as well. So I don't know. Either way, I have to figure it out, and that's one of the goals. That is all of my goals for 2025. I am very optimistic about them. I think I've already had a really good head start on many of these goals, and it's only been a month. So I'm very excited to see how much I get done by the end of the year. Like I said, I think I'm going to do like a check-in halfway through the year. So maybe in like July, beginning of July, I'm going to go back to these goals and kind of see where I'm at. And I think it'll be really interesting looking at the relationship aspects and talk about whether that has worked out for me IRL and online and how my relationships are going, because it's been an interesting journey with relationships online and in real life. I'm kind of glad I'm talking about my goals now instead of the beginning of the year, because it gives me reassurance that these goals are important and that they aren't just goals to be goals. So I really like them. And I have them in my Discord. I have a channel in my Discord titled Goals and Wins. So I have it pinned there that I can look back at. And I encourage all of you too, if you are in my Discord once again, to post your goals and your accomplishments as well, and kind of be able to check in with one another and see how we're doing, because this isn't just about me. I want to know if any of these stuck with you, or if you are working on anything similar, or if you have like different areas of your life that you're trying to work on. I have had some people post some of their goals for this year in that channel. Along the way, we just post our wins or our accomplishments, so that way we can hype each other up and focus on the strengths that we have rather than what we haven't accomplished yet. Because why would you want to focus on that, you know? We got to focus on our strengths so that way we can build up the areas that we want to work on. So that's really cool. With the whole eating better and going to the gym, I also created a health and wellness channel that I'm going to start posting more about just my overall wellness. And I love to see what other people are doing and stuff like that. I've really enjoyed the gym channel in Yetzel's server because we're able to kind of hype each other up to go to the gym. And I've also been seeing a lot of good recipes online. So I made a recipes category as well to kind of keep track of recipes for myself, but also see if anybody has any good recipes for me to try. Because now I have my own kitchen, which is great, and I can do cooking streams. So really fun stuff. I'm very optimistic about a lot of it, and I'm excited to see where I'm at in July. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Lots of goals, but all very good ones. I think that is where I'm going to wrap it up. And once again, I hope everyone has a good Valentine's Day. And if it's already passed then I hope you still have a great day, night, wherever you are. And good luck with the rest of your week. If it's the beginning of the week, if it's the weekend, woohoo, go party up. I will see you guys in the next episode. Episode 7 will be with Yetzel. So might get some spicy stuff in there. I am very curious to see how this episode goes with him. So first episode with a guest will be episode 7, or the next episode. And we will talk about a lot of relationship stuff in that one. So we will see. I will also be posting on my Instagram, maybe Discord, I don't know yet, a place to submit questions for me and Yetzel, and just for the podcast in general. So be on the lookout for that as well. And we will see you at the next episode. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day. Bye.